Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Alex again, here talking about something a little bit different this time. Alright, so, my buddy and I were digging through a bunch of the limited to ones and limited to zeros, and we both kind of agreed that a lot of them don't need to be there anymore, like a really large number of them. So this video, I'm just going to go through the list of cards and just give my opinions on the ones that I think could safely come back to the game. Alright, so let me find my first example here. It might be on page 2. Pretty much everything on that page is pretty much stationary there. It's not coming back. However, this page, we could see something come back. Alright, now, though I believe Glow Up Bulb is an overpowered card, it could potentially come back seeing as Lone Fire's at 1. However, that being said, if Lone Fire goes to 2, then this card should not come back because it would make plants tier like 1.5, and Konami really doesn't want that, I guess. Goyo Guardian, Big Eye's at 3, and while I think Big Eye, based on the ease that it can be made, deserves a ban, Goyo Guardian can... Goyo Guardian, when it came out, was a lot more powerful and a lot harder to get rid of than it is now. For instance, Torrential Tribute's at 2 now, Mirror Force is at 2, 2800 isn't the number that it used to be when it comes to attack points. It's not as easy to get out as other cards. I mean, it's pretty easy to get out, but it's not as easy to get out, and then when you do, it's not usually as worth it as, you know, other cards that you could be making in decks that can synchro, for instance, like Quasar. I don't know. It just seems to me like he can be deprisoned, he can be mirror forced, and then he has restrictions on him that are actually reasonable. His attack power would really help the level 6 thing, and with Fire Fist coming out, this guy might actually see an unbanning. I think it would help to promote the new decks, but, you know, there's me. I don't know, tell me what you think about that one. That one has to stay banned, that one has to stay banned. Yeah, all these are not coming back. Magician of Faith, it's not as powerful as it used to be. It's so slow. It's a flip effect, and yes, Tsukiyomi's back, and yes, you can use Monster Reborn over and over. But in order to do that, you have to set a card, use up a normal summon the next turn, then, yeah, you have to flip the card without anything happening to it. You have to summon the Tsukiyomi without anything happening to it. You have to play Tsukiyomi, which is a little bit crappy. Only really good against Prophecy, but I expect that one's going to get hit. Yeah, and it's just not as good as it used to be. Given it would be very, very good, but I don't think it would be broken. It wouldn't be like when BLS came back and everyone was running it. It would be like slower decks would run it so that they can reuse powerful spell cards. You know, and I just don't think it's as dangerous as it once was. I mean, I guess you could recycle Book of Moon and then Book of Moon your Magician of Faith, but how good is that really? Like, you're flipping it up to get Book of Moon, to put it face down, and then get Book of Moon. Or you could just use a Book of Moon with it. Other than that, I don't really see it as a huge detriment to the format, or to any metagame in general. even in casual play, this card has lost favor with traditional players. Just not what it used to be in terms of power. If the format was really, really slow, like back when Warrior Beat was a thing, this card might have been dangerous, but I don't know. I don't see it. Now, if Premature Burial. Now, this one, if all the search cards for equips went away, this could probably safely replace, even then, because then there's that Giga Loop where you could get, like, a whole bunch of things on the board with Premature Burial. Yeah, that one should stay banned. Regeki, unfair. Rescue Cat. Now, there was talks of this coming back, and I don't think that it will. And I don't know. I don't really have a basis for that, but if it were to come back, it would help X-Sabers. It would help Gladiator Beasts. I think it would be interesting to see come back. I'm not saying that it's ready to come back yet, but it would be interesting to see it come back to 1. Oppression. There's a lot of talk about Royal Oppression. Should not come back. Now, Royal Oppression is one of those cards where, yes, it's great in anti-meta, but it's great in meta, too. For instance, if this card were to come back, Dragon Rulers and Prophecies would run it, because whoever goes off first and sets the Royal Oppression, they can just stop whatever their opponent does from doing. For instance, Plant Synchro and, when Plant Synchro did this, or when any of the other Blackwings, although it was a lot better in Blackwings, but anyway, I don't think it should come back. Sangan, I still think, even though it helps out every Tier 2 deck, Tourist Slot is still in the game, so I think that it still needs to be at 0. As much as I love you, Sangan. Sinister Serpent, I feel that this could safely come back. There would be a lot of people that would give it a lot of hype for a good couple weeks, maybe even a couple months, and then realize that all the new archetypes do way better than get back a card that's essentially less valuable than Treeborn Frog. That being said, if this card came back, I would definitely put it into my Quick Draw deck, because I think that would be pretty good. It would let me drop Quick Draw and pay nothing for it. But at the same time, Volcanic Shells already do the same thing. Not that the Volcanic Shell Quick Draw has been relevant forever. Okay, this card is way, way too slow to be relevant anymore. Just, you could put it at 1 and no one would play. Well, the deck would still be pretty good at binding people, but I don't know. Time Seal definitely doesn't need to be on here. I don't know, probably keep Thousand Eyes Restrict on the ban list, actually. Time Seal really doesn't need to be on here. Trap Dust Shoot does. Trishula, I wish it could come back safely, but it can't. Witch of the Black Forest, there's been a lot of talk of bringing back Witch, seeing as it's Destroy by Battle. At the same time, it provides so much search that I can't safely see it coming back. Alright, on to the one-ofs. And Now, I know that I mentioned a lot of the cards on the zero, but, I did state that a lot of them shouldn't come back. So, bear that in mind if you're going to be harsh commenters. Allure of Darkness, if FTKs weren't a thing, then I would say that Allure could go to 2, but it really can't. Gale should go to 3. It hasn't been a threat since Stun was a thing. And who's seriously running Blackwings nowadays? Like, really. And this would just help them out a lot. It would let them make Armor Master, which is, something that the deck thrived on back on the day. And it wouldn't be as busted as giving them back a Whirlwind to search out like a zillion Kalutes. Book of Moon, even though Morphing Jar FTK is still a thing, without the tour guides to search out the Sangan to search out the Morphing Jar, it's far less consistent. So I think it could go to 2. Tell me what you think on that one too, because Book of Moon is one of those cards that can be abused in other things, and it is one of those cards that's floated in and off of the ban list forever. Card Destruction. I seriously think this card's going to get banned this time. Like, when Dark Worlds were abusing it, I thought it was going to get banned, but E-Dragons are way worse with the abusing of the Card Destruction. It's just so powerful. Anyway, I think this one's going to get hit. But the discussion of this is based on what's coming off the ban list, not what's going on. Chaos Sorcerer, I still don't think it should have gone to 2. And I would love to put back together my Piper Chaos deck with 2 Chaos Sorcerers. It could very safely go to 3, but it at 2 is fine. Charge of the Light Brigade, Lightsworns have been slowly getting their stuff back forever, and I think the Charge of the Light Brigade could see on a semi-limit. Dandelion, you can tell that I play plants here, but I think that Dandy could go to 2, or Lone Fire could go to 2, or something from the plant engine could come back. Because, let's be honest, it's underwhelming at its best. At its best, it's underwhelming. Even with 2 Dandy and 2 Lone Fire, the deck could do nothing. It would have, like, 1 play with the World Tree with 2 Lone Fire, or 2 Dandelion, that would make it derpy. But even then, you need 3 of them to pull it off. I don't know. I don't see it. Dandy Quick Draw would get a little bit back, and that would be nice. Yeah. Dark Armed? Now, I know there's still a lot of butthurt about back in the day when there was the Teledad format. However, Teledad isn't nearly as scary as it used to be. Allura's at 1, there's a lot of things at 1. I could see this coming back. One more thing I want you to consider about this. I'm not saying all of these cards should come back. I'm saying that we could see them come back, and a lot of them deserve to come back. Foolish? I could see Foolish going up. It's not really that dangerous anymore. Back in the day when it was really, really overpowered, yeah, but, I mean, what are you really foolishing these days that's gonna win you games? Treeborn, maybe? So what? Swap Frog's out. And, there are things that you foolish Burial, but it is inherently a -1. And honestly, it just helps out a lot of decks that are slower and inconsistent, and I think it would help to expand the metagame. Formula Synchron, I think it's done its time. It could go to 2. Junk Doppel could really use it, and it's not broken in Junk Doppel. It lets them make, like, 2 Shooting Stardusts or 2 Quasars, but, yeah, I guess that's dangerous, but not dangerous enough to keep it at 2, or keep it at 1. It could go to 2 safely. I mean, that being said, if you drop a Librarian and 2 Formulas in 1 turn, you're pretty much set up to win the game. But the deck's super inconsistent as it is. I know, I play Junk Doppel. Like, without another without another non-tuner that's good, that deck can't be good. There's just not enough. Yeah. Bestiary. I've thought this could go to 2 for the longest time. Like, this deck hasn't been relevant since frickin' X-Sabers, man. It doesn't even need to be on the ban list. Like, and there's a lot of love for the Gladiator Beast archetype, and I think Konami, with all the negative press that they've been getting with this last format, via Dragon Rulers and Prophecies, I think that giving back a lot of these cards would help to just cool the metagame down a bit and just, you know, make everybody a little bit friendlier towards Konami. Lonefire, frickin' just give me my Lonefire back. I've wanted it forever. I've waited like 2 years to play 2 Lonefire again. Like, just, yeah. I think Mizuki we might see go up, simply because of the fact that the new vampires are coming out, and honestly, that deck is a little bit underwhelming, and 2 Mizuki would help to push it a little bit more. Monster Gate doesn't really need to be at 1. Reasoning is probably going to go to 3. This could probably go to 2. Grand Mole. Grand Mole used to be the nuts, but now it's not really. It's good, but it's not great. And it's a wonderful card for slower decks, or decks that don't use their normal summon. I think that this could safely go to 2 or even 3 and not hurt anyone. Now, Night Assailant I'm not sure on. Like, I know that there's a loop with it, but I don't know if that loop works, because I don't remember what it is. If someone would be kind enough to leave a comment telling me what that is, that would be great. Thanks, bros. 1 for 1, same thing as Foolish. It's inherently a neg 1, and only inconsistent slow decks run it. Yeah, it's not what it used to be again. Like, when X-Sabers used to use it to get up Ragigura before they had all that search power, this card was kind of powerful, but it's not really anymore. Or, like, when they used this to get out Disc Commander? I wasn't around for that format, so I can't really speak on that. Yeah, 1 for 1, I think could safely go up. Plague Spreader Zombie could go to 2. Even though there's that Quillbolt OTK, I still think the Quillbolt OTK deck is pretty bad, even when it's working, because, like, it puts the damage on the board. Let's not kid ourselves about that. It puts the damage on the board, but then it's so inconsistent to get off. There are way easier OTKs, and on top of it, like, you have to get rid of most of your hand to get the OTK off, although there is the new Xyz version that uses Daigusto Emerald. Or not Emerald. Phoenix? It's the 2-star wind dude. Yeah. This would help the deck, or this would help out zombies a lot. And, you know, Konami's pushing a new zombie archetype. They might as well give us back a Plague Spreader while they're at it. Pot of Avarice, I think it's going to get banned. Rhoda, now, I toyed around with Rhoda going to 2. Rhoda going to 2 would mean 6 Samurais would be kind of derpy, and the only reason that they'd be derpy is because they would be super consistent. But it would help out older archetypes, it would help out E-Heroes, it would help out Junk Doppel, and it wouldn't really do any damage until Konami releases a new Warrior archetype. Which, you know, they do quite frequently. I mean, the primary card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Warrior. So, yeah. I could see it coming back. That's all I'll say about it. I'm not sure if it will, but I could see it. That's pretty much it for that page. TG Striker should go to 7. No one would care. And then that is... Oh, Transmigration Prophecy should also go to whatever. It could be at 3 and no one would play it. Then the 2-ofs. Now, I don't know why this went to 2. Bubble Beat topped like 2 tournaments when this ban list hit, that this card went to 2. And, you know, the Bubble Beat OTK wasn't even that intimidating. Like, I wasn't afraid of it. Every time I played it, I was like, oh, so you're going to set a bunch of spells? Alright, Heavy Storm. Or, you know... Yeah, and, you know, it put damage on the board, but it didn't do it well. There's way better OTKs than Bubble Beat. Although Hero's pretty good. Advanced Ritual Art, we saw it go to 2, it did nothing. If it goes to 3, it's still going to do nothing. Christia, again, probably... It's a dangerous card to be at 3, but at the same time, I think it could safely be at 3 right now. That being said, if Konami releases another Fairy archetype, this card might see rebanning. But I think it might come back to 3. Debris Dragon could go to 7 and no one would play it. Black Rose just isn't what it used to be with the plant engine so small. And it's just not... Black Rose just isn't good against things anymore. Like, there's too many ways to stop it, even outside of the Tier 1. The only thing this card's being played in is 1 in Dragons. And that's just simply because it can get searched. Mizuki, I toyed around with this one in my head as well. And if it went to 3, it wouldn't be as dangerous as Tengu going to 3. Because... when Tengu was at 3, it profoundly affected the format. Every single deck could run Tengu safely. Because it was so powerful. It changed the way that we played Synchros. It made, like, multiple Trishulas per turn not only viable, but likely. But Mizuki, on the other hand, if Mizuki went up, there aren't any really broken combos. Like, you can make 2 level 8 synchros if you have 3-star and one of them in the grave, but that's already hard to set out. And like an E-teleport, but that's already like a 3-card investment for 2 cards. So, I mean, it's not that great. That being said, you could machine duplication a level 3 tuner or another tuner and spam out... Oh, no, you'd need level 2s. I'm sorry, I forgot. Malicious is a 6. I don't know what card I was thinking of that was a 5. Probably Solar Windjammer. No, that's a 5, yeah. Okay, But you would need a 2-star, and then you would have to machine duplicate it. Oh, there was my background. Nurses. Or whatever. I don't know. Just some pictures. Yeah. But malicious, not really that dangerous. It would make D heroes actually playable if it was at 3, but it wouldn't make them great. And I don't think it needs to be at 2 anymore. If any of you guys know any broken combos other than spamming out 3 level 8s, with Mizuki, maybe making like a rank 6 real easy, or making multiple rank 6s, I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of anything that's like really busted with Mizuki at 3. Nothing that Karakuri OTK can't already do. But just, yeah. E-Emergency Call could go to 3. People only will ever run 2 anyway. Heretic Seal. I never thought this needed a hit. And it doesn't hinder the deck that much, so why clog up our ban list with it at 2? Simplify the game state, guys. Mirror Force, it doesn't do anything at 2, it's not going to do anything at 3. Ojama Trio, not dangerous anymore. Let's not kid ourselves. Who's winning the game by dropping 3 Ojama Trios in a turn and then, like, attacking it with Ultimate Tyranno or some shit? I don't know. Back in the day, that might have been good, but it's not anymore. Pot of Duality doesn't really need to be at 2. It could probably go to 3. I mean, it adds so much consistency to the game, but at the same time, who cares? It only helps out decks that need their normal summons. So, yeah. Reasoning, we might see this go to 3. We saw it go to 2 like a ban list or 2 ago. I think it's an interesting card that it has the potential to do damage, but doesn't always. And then Summoner Monk could probably go to 3. Earth should have never gone to 2. Thunder King should have never gone to 2. Torrential might go to 3, and Tragodia might go to 3. Well, thanks everybody. Tell me what you think of my thoughts. Tell me if I'm totally off the ticket or that I'm real right about the ban list being too large. Yeah, just tell me what you think. Peace out, YouTube.